Kia ora, good evening, hello, welcome to the book launch, which of course is in a slightly different venue to what we were expecting. We are still looking, all those with tickets, we're looking forward to hosting you at the Novotel when things become a little bit more apparent what's happening out there. Hello, welcome, build up, where are you? So we are in the lounge here at home. So welcome to our home. Let me show you what guests we have in here tonight. We've got, oh, where is he? Andre here. Isabella, our daughter's here, and we've got some special guests that wouldn't have been able to make it. I don't think they would have been allowed at the Novotel, but they are allowed here joining us, so very special. Let me introduce you. Isabella, do you want to let them know who you've got there?
This is Luna.
Luna, yes.
Oh, she's so sweet.
She is so sweet, isn't she? Isn't that just cuteness overload? We'll just wait while a few more people come on. Isabella, do you want to find our other friend? Hello to everyone there. So Anthea, Barbara, Lou, Vanda, welcome. We'll just wait while a few more people join us. And yeah, so just in the meantime, wanting to say, we know that it's been a bit of a tough time for people with what's been happening. One of the things is that we're kind of all in this together. Whatever we're experiencing something. And I do think the three things that I'll be going through tonight that made, hi, Super Vex. I love being called Super Vex, thank you. And thank you, Meredith, with a huge congrats. Yeah, the three things that we're going through tonight I really do think are relevant because they were what made a difference to us as a family, those times when we were feeling like things were quite uncertain. So I do think they're quite relevant. And hi from Joe, thank you. Isabella, have you got our other lovely friend? Do you want to come over here?
We got the other special guest.
The other special guest is young Bernie. Should we get a close-up of Bernie? Where do we need to go? Oh, that way, yes. So Bernie's a furry friend that needs brushing every day. And our other family member that is missing is of course Patrick, our cat, who just not a good combination, the three of them together. Hi, Kelly. Congrats, lovely sis. Oh, thank you, Joe. That's really nice. Karen's here too. Hello, welcome. Becky, hi. Wonderful to have you all here and joining us. One thing about not having it at the Novotel in Christchurch at a physical place is that people from different parts of the country, the world, can be tuning in. So that's a bonus. And just while we're talking about people from out of town, did just want to acknowledge and thank those that had booked flights here. Sarah from Queenstown, Tash from Wellington, and of course Andre's parents who had less than a 24-hour visit to Christchurch last Saturday with the changes and announcements that were happening there. And our accountant. Lovely having you online here with us. Ranui, welcome. Thank you so much everyone for joining us. I know it's a busy time of the evening. So I think we might get underway. What do you reckon, guys? Should we get underway? Show me some love hearts. We're going to make this a bit interactive. We've been thinking how can we be doing that? So loving the comments. There'll be opportunities for us to be communicating through emojis later on. Hey there, Alison. Oh, thanks for coming online. Lovely to have you. Hey, I'm loving all those hearts. Oh my goodness, thank you very much. So let's do this then. Let's launch this book. So I thought we would start off, oh thanks Sandra, I thought we would start off with a bit of time travel. I thought we could all travel back in time to when this story really started for us, which was the very end of 2007 and the start of 2008. So I wonder if you recall what was happening at that time. And already I'm thirsty, so I might just have a little drink. It is good Christchurch water. So 2007, so in June 2007, Steve Jobs launched the iPhone. George Bush, he was president. There were about 30,000 troops in Afghanistan and Iraq, and oh, I got a kick. I'll see what that was about. Oh, right, Lou, yes, of course, you had cancer. That's right. I remember us both going through, me having morning sickness and you having chemotherapy sickness. That's right, yeah. What else in 2007? Madeleine McCann, that's when she went missing. And I wonder if you guys know what the top movie of 2007 was. I might have another sip of water while we see if anyone can guess what the top movie in 2007 was. Like, there's no prizes for it, so perhaps I'll just tell you. It was Pirates of the Caribbean. And then in 2008, at the start of that, actor Heath Ledger, he suddenly died. And we were heading, it hadn't quite happened yet, but heading into a global financial crisis. Obama was about to become president. And I wonder if anyone can guess what the top song of the year was. I remember it because we did go to her concert, actually see her live. Someone that's not here anymore. It was Amy Winehouse's song Rehab. And there I was sat on the toilet, in our bathroom, in the toilet, hunched over, and the absolutely whole body cry happening, but no sound coming out. And next door was Andre, sat on the couch, probably just staring off into space, and there I was on this toilet, just that full body sobbing, and yet no sound coming out because I was trying to be strong. And I was thinking, how has this happened? This just cannot be happening for us. Andre was thinking that, well, he hadn't slept for, at that stage, 4 nights and 4 days, and he thought everyone was against him, that he was this terrible person, that people were even out to kill us, perhaps. His friends, being Aussies, know about Heath Ledger, had texted him saying, oh man, have you seen about this? And he did not believe that Heath Ledger was dead. He believed that was just another sign that was showing him that he was a terrible person, and that everyone is in on it, including the media. And yeah, I was thinking, how can this be happening? Just wanting to kind of shake Andre and be saying, look, how can you be thinking this? Everyone loves you. The most common thing that people, when they're describing Andre, they'd say he's such a good guy. How can you be thinking this about yourself? As well, there was a part of me that was pissed off because, you know, I was 7.5 months pregnant. It hadn't been the best of pregnancies. And, you know, the waking up in the mornings, feeling sick, breakfast, lunch and dinner, sort of, and finally I was beginning to feel a little bit better. And now it felt like, oh, I've got to deal with this. Do you mind just turning the heat pump up? I just realised we've got the heat pump going and don't want that affecting the sound. Yeah, so, but mostly I was terrified. I just was in disbelief. I was working in an early intervention and psychosis team. Technically, Andre would have been coming under our team. And I just could not believe life had been so good. How could this be happening? The last time, maybe the only other time that I'd had that full-on body cry and no sound coming out was 5 years before that. And it was when about 5-10 minutes after my dad had passed away. And again, I was on a toilet. I had gone to the bathroom, and just that overwhelming sense of nothing's ever going to be the same again. And I guess just absolutely terrified. Is life going to be the same again? Is it going to be? Is it ever? Am I ever going to get my Andre back? What does this mean for us bringing this baby into the world? And I thought that things just couldn't get any worse. And the next day, he attempted to end his life. And as well, though, with all these things going through my mind, I was sat there for quite some time, and I was imagining these conversations in the future, saying it was the most horrendous time, but good things have come from it. I didn't even know that was a mindset technique, but that was kind of just what was naturally coming up. It just kept on going over and over in my mind. This is terrible, but actually good things have come from it. And I guess that's what has happened. That is why we've been wanting to, when I say we, and maybe me in particular, but wanted to share that story, because it wasn't just the blip. It wasn't just, oh, you've been overworking, you've not been having sleep. If we just address those things, then things will be back to normal really, really quickly. It wasn't that. It was an admission to the psychiatric hospital at that time, and then a year later, and down the track, that time off work. But that what I was imagining, those conversations of it was a horrendous time, but learnings have come from it. That's exactly what's happened for us. And it has led to us being a lot more comfortable within ourselves. It's meant that we've been, even when stressful things are happening, that we've got the techniques to be able to relax and know there'll be some learning here, and how to actually figure out those learnings sooner rather than later. I think that we would feel a lot closer to each other. So numerous things have happened, as well as that being more relaxed about what's happening, that whatever challenges there are, there will be these learnings. Just seeing Matt saying, love you, Andre and Bex, yeah. Thanks, Matt. And hi to Tanya too. Hey. So let me tell you the reasons that I guess, like we're saying, we're wanting to share this story, but let me tell you the reasons that I wanted to write this book. It is because working in mental health, my views of mental health have changed. And each time it's changed, I feel like I have got better at being able to help others help themselves. as well, I've got a lot better at me being able to help myself. When I first started working in mental health, it was when I was 18, and I was working on a psychiatric ward for elderly, so it's over 65-year-olds. So some who had been, well, actually quite a lot, had been in mental health services on and off throughout years, if not decades. And I would have had quite a medical point of view there. I would have thought in terms of genetics. I would have been thinking in terms of this is a chemical imbalance. Not 100% thinking medical model, and that I was there as an occupational therapy assistant. So the beliefs there would be that activity, what we're doing or what we're not doing, that can impact the way that we feel. But to me, what people were experiencing seemed quite random. It seemed quite, really quite fascinating what people were experiencing, their symptoms. So I remember being in a group, and there was a lady there who would jump up and go outside, and she'd be getting messages from the car radio antenna. I had a lady come up to me one day, or maybe I went over to her, and she said, "Oh, Rebecca, have you heard the good news, dear?" And I said no, and I was thinking, this is probably, maybe she's being discharged, that's the exciting news. And she said, "Oh, we're having a baby." And now she was close to 80 years old. And it was one of those, I think this would be the only time in my work career that this has happened, but her partner was a patient on the ward at the time as well. And he believed that he was God. And so, just all these things that were happening, I was just thinking, this is fascinating, but I would have been thinking of it as quite random, what people were experiencing. When I started working in London, and we were part of setting up the team, the early intervention and psychosis team there, we were working with people that it was, well, because we were a new team, some of them had experienced it before, but in recent years. And when you started to hear their stories, what they were experiencing, their symptoms, no longer seemed that random, that there was a connection between what had happened in their lives or what was happening. And so, for example, I was working as a case manager, and one of my clients, she was becoming unwell, she was becoming really stressed out, and she believed that people were watching her, spying on her. So some of the things, what she was describing didn't quite add up. So she thought that people were walking by and looking into her kitchen, but she was down on a level where they would have been having to hit their head really low if they were watching her. She described she felt that work people were watching her, were laughing about her. And and getting really distressed by that. I was having a conversation with her and said to her, "Have you ever experienced that before? People staring at you, people watching you?" And she thought about it and she said, "Well, yeah, she was raped as a 9-year-old, and she said before that happened, I remember him standing in the doorway and him watching me, him staring at me." And then later, as we were talking more, a couple of weeks ago, before becoming that unwell, she said she'd seen a guy. It wasn't him, but seen a person that did remind her a bit of this man. And she said, "Do you think that that's got something to do with what I'm experiencing?" And I said, well, maybe, what do you think? And although I didn't have all the techniques that I have today that I think might have been quite useful for her, even just making that connection rather than you're unwell, this is just a chemical imbalance, let's look to the medication to do it, we were able to think about what was something that would make her feel safe. So yeah, and there were just so many then examples of where people's symptoms, what they'd experienced in life, it seemed like a dialed up version of what had been happening in their life. So another example was a guy that I was working with who was the eldest in the African family, where there was a lot of pressure put on the eldest there. And when things to do with his immigration status and not being able to work, when they started to happen, that's when he became unwell, and his beliefs were things that he was doing. So even hand movements that he was making, he was concerned that was going to have an impact on all of the UK. So again, we didn't think that was true, but that theme of there being pressure put on him, that kind of made sense why it was what he was experiencing came out in with that theme. Another guy I was working with, he believed that the police were monitoring him through a chip in his back. Well, he did have a bullet that was still in his back from when he was drug dealing. And so although his beliefs didn't, again, there were holes in the story, it didn't quite add up, you could see why that it wasn't just so random anymore. And I guess the exciting thing about that is when we can understand, rather than this is just a chemical imbalance, let's control this with medications. And incidentally, I'm certainly not against medications. Just think that we want to throw any tool that we can that's going to work at it. And the more that we could figure out what the stories were and what the triggers were, the more empowered we could be to find out what was going to work for the person. And a really big difference in my life was about 5 years. It was 5 years on from Andre first becoming unwell, and life was kind of good for us. And yet there was also the sense that things could be better. We were doing all those right things that you meant to be doing. We were exercising, nutritionally things were okay. We had good family supports. There was love there. We were giving. We were doing all those things that, if you looked at the Mental Health Foundation, those things that you're supposed to be doing. And yet we would have still been having stresses. We would have still worried about things. And people tell you, don't they? They tell you, "Oh, just don't worry about it," as if we've ever thought, "Oh, never thought about that as an option. That's what I'll do. I'll just stop worrying about it." So in many ways, life was good, but there were still these things that I guess we felt out of control of. And one of those things for me was having irritable bowel. I had irritable bowel for probably around 20 years then, and was actually at an acupuncture session where they were saying, we're not really getting the results from acupuncture as we'd hoped. Do you want to try this NLP, this neuro-linguistic programming technique? And I was like, I'll give anything a go. And it was life-changing for me. So this thing, I'd gone down all the medical route in terms of different medications. I'd tried all the different exclusion diets to see what could be making a difference. But I still had that feeling that it was to do with my anxiety that this was happening. but what do you do? How do you control something? How do you make a difference to something that is happening on that subconscious level? You can't consciously tell your bowels, please behave. Anyway, this technique that we used, it was saying that in some way our mind had thought that it was doing something useful for me, and it created these massive shifts. So physically, the symptoms, they really, almost overnight, things changed, and I really started getting curious. If I can bring about this change here, what else? What other ways can we use the mind to bring about changes? So that happened for me first, and then Andre started picking up on these. So I was going off and doing different trainings. He attended a group where he was beginning to feel like he was getting this more freedom, other ways of using the mind to actually be not just thinking those helpful thoughts, actually feeling them. And that's what brought about me then leaving my job and setting up Healthy Minds, because of just how, just how good we felt, didn't we, Andre? Just suddenly not feeling out of control feels pretty good. And that was then why I wanted to share. I wanted people to have that understanding. If you feel like you're doing all those right things, but you're still not feeling the way that you want to, if you know what you're meant to be doing, but you don't know what gets in the way of it, that's what this book is about. So probably you'd know that the first 2/3 of the story is our story. And then the last third of it is the techniques in there that really helped. I just wanted to say some thank yous now. I wanted to talk you through. Thank you so much to everyone that has booked tickets. And like I say, we will be having the event on at some stage. We've been getting the goodie bags out to those, as many as we've been able to. So I hope you're enjoying them, and those that haven't received them yet, they will be on their way. But I just wanted to talk about a few items that are in there, because everything in there was meaningful. And let me first of all talk about the linden leaves gifts here. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Andre's beauty regime is finally being revealed. Well, I don't know. Have you ever used them, Andre? Linden leaves things. I think you might have actually had anyway, the reason that it's in there, Imelda and I went along to the founder of Linden Leaves to a talk. I think it was about women in business. And yeah, we've been really impressed. Didn't realise then that she set it up, it is still based in Christchurch. And what we found really interesting was that it was set up because of the struggles that she was having, that for her children, it was either one of her children or both of her children were having horrendous problems with skin conditions, and everything that they were trying just wasn't working, and they were just in agony. So her business, that is this worldwide family business, still based in Christchurch, doing really well, that was all set up. It started off in her kitchen at home, and it was in the response to, a pretty distressing experience. And apart from loving the products, and Imelda and I have kept in touch, gone to different events of hers since, but really thought that it fitted well with that theme, that from the most difficult times, great things can come from that. So yeah, sincere thanks, Bridget. That was very generous of you to be donating those. On to something else that's in your goodie bag is the butterfly. So you'd know that we've gone with the butterfly theme for the book about transformation, and that very much feels like that's what's happened for Andre and I. These were made by Andre's dad, the butterfly inside. So you've got a piece of origami paper as well with the instructions so you can replicate that. So very special that it was made by Emmanuel or Nino. Thank you very much. He made 140 of them. And what I think makes it extra special is that he has Parkinson's. And so you're right, Anna, he is such a kind man. And yeah, so again, I just think very inspiring. These diagnoses that we get, we don't have to let them get in the way of our life. So thank you, Nino. Thank you for them. What else do we have in the goodie bag? There's more things, but so another one here was the O-rings butterfly mixture. So again, keeping with the butterfly transformation theme. Bit meaningful, and I know a few of you guys on here, we started off working at O-rings at 12, so meaningful in that way as well. In the book, use an analogy of mental health being like a garden, and kind of way of looking at it that was helpful for us. So that's your seed mix there. And I just love garden metaphors. I think there's so many useful things we can learn from a garden. Now let me show you, what shall I show you first? I'll show you this. So our daughter Isabella, she painted this, and we've taken a photo. It took her about a month in her art class, very kind of fine detail there, and that's what your little bookmarks your little bookmarks there, that is of her artwork there. So thank you, Boo. Thank you very much. And I have to admit, when these arrived, I thought, oh, I've messed up. I've ordered business cards instead of bookmarks. And then I realized, oh no, these are bookmarks. And thinking, oh, what do I do? Do I order some other ones? And when I put it in the book, I realized, well, it does still function as a bookmark. Who says that they need to be a certain size? Maybe we are saving the environment. That might be a bonus from it. As well, that idea that who says things have to be a certain way? And that's what I really hope from the book. This is Andre and our experience, and I guess it's more told from the perspective from me. But this is about the hope here is that you'll take some parts and make it your own. This is not saying this is the way, when you're having these issues, this is the way to deal with it. It's just wanting to spark some ideas. I always love it when I hear something, learn something that allows me more possibilities, more ways of seeing things. So that's what the hope is there. And Shireen's saying an amazing goodie bag. There's more inside, Shireen, and we will get that to you. And Isabella, just to let you know, some people were saying what beautiful, beautiful artwork, what beautiful butterflies. So she's smiling. So on to a few more thank yous. I did want to say thank you to the crew that volunteered, that we're going to be making sure that you had your, there's one of them sending some hearts, they were going to be checking you in, making sure you got your goodie bags and your drinks. So thank you to friend Anna, thank you to the lovely Katrina, and thank you to my sister Jo for volunteering to be assisting there. I wanted to acknowledge Sasha and Beatrice, who were going to be playing the music. for you tonight at the event. Like I say, we will be having another event and you will get to experience their talents again, hopefully soon. Now, who else was I wanting to thank? There's so many people. We're on to you, Imelda. So honestly, just a sincere thank you. I really don't know if Healthy Minds would exist if it wasn't for lovely Imelda coming into our lives. I joke, but it's kind of true that when we made the decision to go into business, I truly think I've spent longer trying to decide which chocolate to buy. It just felt right. I honestly just don't know what we would do without you as a family. Might just turn it round. Don't you reckon, guys? Like, Imelda is just amazing.
Yeah.
In our lives. So, where are we? So, yeah. Some of you will know that Imelda does sessions, doesn't she, with you, Andre? Whenever you're needing a boost, she's there for us. Yeah, so honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, should we blow her a kiss? Should we say thank you? We love you, Imelda. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to write this book as well, Imelda. I know it's been quite a process. And on to thanking family. So I truly am so lucky to have Andre's family as in-laws right from the start, just incredibly welcoming of me, and honestly just feel so blessed. Thank you also to the flowers from the family. They're gorgeous. Really blessed, and like I say, that was so nice. I know Andre's parents wanted to be here and did attempt it with their under 24-hour landing in Christchurch last weekend. But yeah, honestly, love you guys. And to my family and to Mum in particular, you know, before Wayne Johnson was called The Rock, that's what we called our mum. She really is the rock in our family. She certainly taught me about unconditional love, and yeah, just so grateful to have you in my life, Mum. And we're on to thanking Isabella and Andre. I just love them so much, and I'm so grateful that they let me share our story, because I know it's a little bit confronting and a bit challenging, and they are honestly the most wonderful, fun, loving people. So when I was going through this with Andre, I said, do you want to know the structure for what I'm going to talk about? He said, I said, I'm going to thank you. And he said, you're going to thank me for occasionally doing the dishes. And I just thought, yeah, you always just make me laugh. And you are just, both of them are just so incredibly kind. We have we've labelled our family. We're Team ABBC, so that's Andre, Bex, Rebecca Cragnolini, and yeah, honestly, guys, love you very much. Do you want to come in? The gang's back. Aren't they wonderful? Will you send them some love? Lovely. Okay. Cry, yes. I thought I would cry at the launch. I forgot that this might happen online as well. Guys, look, they're getting these love hearts galore. Isn't that lovely?
We're popular.
You are popular, yeah. Aren't we just? Oh dear. So, what do you reckon? Shall we talk about those three things that really made a difference for us. Oh my goodness, the love keeps coming, guys. I better just show them again. Look at that. Oh, you can see. Yeah, okay. Oh, overwhelmed by love. And they're loving it. Yeah. So those three things. So the first thing is about how you can take stressful experiences, turn them into learning opportunities, so life is even better than it was before. And what really created that shift for me, maybe first, and then I feel like maybe Andre kind of followed in his own way, was shifting from that this is happening to us, from that type of thinking, to this is happening for us. And don't get me wrong, there were definitely times where I could go into victim mode of this is so hard and this is so unfair. Why is this happening for us? Life would be so much easier if only Andre didn't have to take medication and be tired, or, into victim mode anyway. But when we shifted into that thinking of perhaps this is happening for us, perhaps this is a learning opportunity, that before sometimes of just getting to that next level, there is that discomfort, and embracing that. And I guess what really allowed it to happen was the fact that we felt like we had techniques that allowed us to take the learning and move on to the next thing. So the types of questions that helped with that were asking us, in this moment, what is it that I need? And what that would allow was all those kind of stories around what's this happening, what's this about, and that it's tough and unfair. It shifted that into more solutions mode. So asking that question, in this moment, what do I need? And then having all these different ways that we could focus on what it was that was needed rather than the stories. Another way was kind of almost distancing, like that fly on the wall, having that perspective and going, if there's a learning in this, if there's a gift in this, what might that be? Because it seemed like the quicker we got the learning, the quicker we understood the gift, the sooner that discomfort passed. Asking ourselves, is there something that I've picked up along the way that I need to let go of? And what might that be? So this really did allow us to, rather than, and certainly for me, we'll see what Andre has to say about it, but it stopped me from worrying so much about the future, because I was beginning to know that whatever comes up, there'll be a learning, I've got techniques and can move on from that. And when you're asking these questions, what might be the learning, what do I need, it wasn't even like it needed to have the answers. Just having that curiosity was what allowed to get more into that solutions type thinking and away from those stories that were really just fear-based things that were dragging us down. What do you reckon, Andre? Do you think having the answers
on the spot now?
On the spot now. Oh, well, we won't put you on the spot now. So that was the first thing, shifting from this is happening to me, to us, to what if this is happening for us? So rather than that paranoia where you feel like things are working against you, that really it's the concept of pronoia, where everyone, the universe, people are all conspiring for us to be learning, for us to be growing, for us basically to be happy, for good things to be happening for us. So the second thing that I wanted to share with you, and this is where, my goodness, started to feel really empowered, was that we can change, within seconds, we can change how we feel. And in a way, this started about 20 years ago. This concept started about 20 years ago, maybe longer than that, when I was training at the OT school. Because before that, I used to think that it was the situations that you were in that made you feel a certain way. So the coronavirus is happening, therefore, of course, we're stressed out, or we're stressed out about other people's reactions or the economy, or of course, Andre being unwell, that's why I feel so dreadful. But what the concept that helped me see things a bit differently was a scenario that we were given. And it was 3 people that were stuck in a lift. And so they're all in the same situation, but one person is really anxious, another person's really angry, and another one's quite happy. And so same situation, but quite different feeling responses. What is the difference? And the way that we were taught there, the difference was that it was their thinking, what was going through their mind that was creating that feeling. And I know that has its limitations, because sometimes we can logically know something, but we don't feel it. But that sometimes when we do change our thinking, we can just change it and change that feeling. So here's where we do one together, a technique together, and it does require standing up. And I know that you're at home, not in front of me to see if everyone's standing up, but I would encourage you to just stand up and participate in it, because we are going to be, I'll be asking you a couple of questions about it. So maybe if you give me some thumbs up if you're standing up now. Standing up, ready for this one. That can be allowing us to change the way that we feel within seconds. A demonstration here. Oh, there's some thumbs up coming. Yes. Right, we'll take that as a sign it's time to get started. So what I want you to do, and you'll be able to still listen to my instructions while doing this, I want you to be standing up but slouched over, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to be, you could say it out loud or to yourself, but I want you to be saying I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I want you to notice where you feel that most in your body when you're saying to yourself, I can't do it. And I want you to feel really sad as you're saying to yourself, I can't do it. Then I want you to open your eyes. We won't leave you in that state. I want you to just kind of shake that feeling off. And now what I want you to do is, and if you can do this balanced, I want you to be like up in Superman pose and up on your tippy toes if you can, and closing your eyes. Actually, I can't do it on tippy toes at the moment. I'm a bit off balance in these shoes. But stretched out, and I want you to be saying out loud and really fast, doesn't matter who's around, yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 really loud now, yes, 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 and feeling really sad. I want you to feel really sad while still going, yes, 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 yes. Alrighties, so let's have some emojis going on. I want you to put a sad face if when we were first doing that, when we were slouched over saying I can't do it. Put some sad emojis there if you could bring about that sad feeling. We might have a little sip of water while we see if there was some of people when we were saying, oh yes, there's some sad faces. Okay. So yes, sad faces coming through. Excellent. So that when you were slouched over saying I can't do it, you were able to bring that sad feeling to mind. Excellent. Oh, I feel a bit bad now, all these sad faces. Let me ask another emoji question. When you were up in like Superman pose saying yes, 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 were you, let's put an emoji, a sad face, if you could still feel sad when you were yes, yes, yesing. And let's put a love heart if it was really hard to feel sad when you were in that position. Yes, 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 yes. Let's see what we've got. So what's coming up? When you were standing, what is, oh, we've got some love hearts. So it's looking like that's what we'd usually suspect. Oh, plenty of love hearts coming through now. Yeah. So I know some of you will probably know the answer to this, but I wonder if you can guess what makes it so hard to feel sad when you're in that position. Go, yes, 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 yes. I might just let you know the things that usually come up for us. People understand that there's a lot of information going into the mind that is associated with positive things. So this position, that's usually associated either with power or with celebration, somehow positive things. The word yes is associated with positive things usually. Even the speed and the high pitch that we were, the fact that we were saying it quickly and a higher pitch rather than that low and slow, I can't do it. The high pitch, normally we would associate that. Sometimes it can be with anxiety, but often it can be with excitement, particularly if the mind is getting this other information, other positive information coming in. It would be thinking, oh, it must be this high rate, high pitched speech because of something exciting's happening. Matt say you couldn't because he's having to concentrate on balancing. Yeah, you can't multitask. That could well be it as well. There you go, Matt. Whenever you're not wanting to feel sad, do some balance tasks. Yeah. So I guess that is one of many techniques that we can just illustrate how what we are saying, the body position, all these things are information coming into our mind, and literally within seconds we can change the way we feel by changing what's going through our mind, the words, the feedback from our body. And that is just the quickest technique if we're wanting to change our state, if we're feeling a bit stressed out, if we're feeling lethargic and we're wanting to change that to a more positive energy. That's one way, one of many that we can be doing. So, and when we begin to realize we can be doing this, it gives us that confidence, that curiosity. How else can I be bringing about these changes? How else can I be giving the information that's going to, feeding that into my mind, that's going to be bringing about those kinds of feelings that we tend to be aiming for, those ones of satisfaction, of joy, of connection, all those good ones. How can we be bringing those about? And the last one, and again, it's another demonstration one, and we may as well do it. Again, there's no actual prizes for it, but the prize is just the learning, perhaps. So the last one that we're going to be demonstrating is to do with how you can use your focus to bring about what it is that you would like. So we might have this, no prizes, but perhaps we'll have it as a competition, and you can post what number you got to. So this is going to be a bit of a memory test. And what I want you to do is look around the room, and I want you to look for everything that is blue. Everything, look around your room, seeing all the things in that room that are blue, because in a moment I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and you'll have to test yourself, but I want you to see how many of these things that you're going to remember. Okay, so close your eyes now, and I want you to recall all the things in the room that was red. All the things that were red. Just seeing how many things you can remember of that. So let's see if we can get some numbers in the post, in the comments box, of how many things could you recall that were red. And if you're thinking, Bex, you tricked us, I was looking out for the blue things. Sorry. Let's see. I wonder, are any comments coming up on your phone? It's delayed. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll see what ones come up. Oh, zero. Oh, zero. Oh, Victoria. Cheeky. Yes, I am. Is it your lippy? 2. Well done, Ian. 1, Natasha. Well done, Tash. Ian, you look to be leading. None, says Kelly. Only 4. Oh, Anthea, you're the winner at the moment. 0, says Ma. 0 red items. 0 but 2 red things right in front of me. Yes, these things are right in front of us. Yeah, but we weren't focusing on it. None, says Yanni. 1, well done, Margaret. 2, Joe. 2 red items. Yes. All right. Yeah, sorry there. Other Margaret. Yes, well done. You're right, Matt. Well done, Anthea. That was fantastic. So let's do it one more time then. And this time I want you to look around the room and, oh, I'm trying to decide what colour. Let's go for looking for all the green things in the room. Ian's saying, I live in this office. Does this mean you've got a really good memory of all it is? Rebecca, yes. It takes one to know one, Cat Sink. So right, this time, looking around the room, looking for all the green things in the room, and then closing your eyes, and I want you to recall all of those green things that are in the room. See, I didn't trick you this time. Maybe I tricked you because maybe you were looking out for all the colours in the room. Okay, let's see this time how people, when they were focused on green things in the room, how many of those green things did you get this time? And I know there's a bit of a delay, but I think we're all good. Well, hopefully Anna's got 4 this time. Excellent. You're in the lead there. 5, says Kelly. Wonder what other ones. 5, says Sarah. 3-ish. I know sometimes it's hard to tell what colours are what. 1, says Margaret. Was that better than the first time? 4 this time, Touch. So everyone's looking. 5, Joe. Not much green to see, but 2, yes. All things considered, well done, Beck. Oh, we have a winner with 7 so far. Not much green. 6 for you, for Mark, and 5 for you, Bex. Oh, fantastic. So that is a demonstration of what we focus on. We tend to bring more of that about. What I noticed, and it wasn't a planned thing, but when I was, I got a new job, I was really busy with that, and with Andre, I had been wanting to be really supportive of him. So when he was talking about problems, or concerns that he had, I realized in hindsight, when I was busy and not asking him all the time about how was he going with, and talking about the problems, that things seemed to actually improve. And I'm not saying just completely neglect people, don't ask what's happening for them, but it was interesting for me to see that maybe with the best of intentions, I had been fueling and focusing with wanting to come up with solutions, but still that maybe I had been focusing on what was going wrong, what wasn't going so well. And I know that when we were putting other things in place, it really did seem to make a difference when we were focusing on what it was that we wanted. So we did things, didn't we, guys? It must be, gosh, how long do you think we've been doing Gratefuls for? It was around the earthquake time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You might have been 3. You were young, you're right. Isabella hadn't started school when we started that, doing our Gratefuls before we had dinner. And I know to start with, there would be a few of mine would slip in a little bit sarcastically, and then I'd have to check myself and make sure it was a genuine grateful. But yeah, that gratefulness, it allows you to focus on, when we were coming up with the gratefuls, your mind is having to think of all the great things that had happened that day, allowing you to focus on those things. And yeah, all of those things are out there. Our mind just looks for evidence for what we are telling it. So if we are telling it things are improving, it starts looking out for those things that are improving. It starts honing in on that. When we're tuned into those positive things, then that allows us to feel good. And the more that we focus on the things, the more we keep spotting them, and it seems like we just open ourselves up for more and more possibilities there. So that would be that third one of have your mind think about what it is that you're wanting and then focus on it. So be asking yourself, what is it that you're wanting to be seeing? What is it that you're wanting to be hearing? What is it that you're wanting to be feeling? And then be looking out for those things, looking out for the signs. I have to admit, there were a lot of tears for me on Monday when we did make that decision to have it as a virtual one rather than in person. And I took my own advice, and I just felt the feelings that day and was pleased that I did, because at that time I knew that there'd be always gifts. There'd be some learning in this, something positive would come from it. But I was sad, I was disappointed. I'd imagined it would be really exciting having all these wonderful people in our lives gathered there. And yeah, so the first thing was feeling, tuned into feeling. And then the next day, it was amazing. It just, I think, by allowing that to happen, then the next day I was tuned into what are all the good things that are happening there. And it started, I was at the traffic lights, and I heard this banging sound, and when I finally looked up, there were these school children in the bus, and they were waving away and pulling faces, and I was thinking, oh yeah, life is good, life is fun. Yes, there's some scary kind of things happening in the world that of course doesn't pay to ignore them, but yeah, and started just because I was ready to focus on some of those positive things. I started spotting them around, and really had quite a different and enjoyable day on Tuesday. So that is it from disconnecting for a little bit. That was what I was wanting to cover off there. Again, just a massive thanks to everyone for their support, for their encouragement of the book and just us in general. This is an opportunity to be asking any questions that you have. Andre, you up, Andre, for questions? That's just, yeah. Andre's been a bit sick this week. He's had a virus, but not the virus. So he's a little bit under the weather tonight. But what do you reckon? Do you want to stand up here see if we've got any questions? Because yeah, we really, as you probably can tell, we are We are open about our experience. We are up for any questions. There's thanks for going ahead with plan B. Yes, that's right. We're hearing nice specs from Matt. What about you, Isabella? If people had questions for you, would you want to answer them?
Sure.
Sure. Sometimes there's a little delay. Maybe just to mention that, Imelda and I, we really do feel so grateful. We feel like there's so many ways that we can be having the mind working for us. We've got some questions coming in. Andre.
It's not on my screen.
Okay, it's on this one here.
Yeah.
Does it feel empowering, Andre, to have your story told?
Yes, it does, and I did have a lot of anxiety around it, to be honest, and worked through that, and I guess it's about, if it can help someone, then that's great, and that's all I really want out of the book. And please, and Rebecca asked if she could write it, and I was, obviously, yeah, like I said, I was anxious, but I agreed, and I've become more comfortable with it. Yeah.
Do you think it's empowering? What part of it would be empowering?
I just think, well, the empowerment for me just comes from myself, is just that I've managed to, because I don't think that, I think it was a lifetime of build up to what happened. It wasn't just, a blip in time, and it needed to be dealt with, and it's always ongoing learnings, but I feel in a much better space now than I ever have in probably most of my life, or that I probably didn't realise in the past, but yeah, now I feel in a much better space, and yeah.
Matt, I think, asked, so just check it. Matt was asking, was there one kind of point that felt like a breakthrough for you?
For me, I really do think, because it did start with Rebecca and with the hypnotherapy. When she started hypnotherapy, I was getting breakthroughs with Rebecca to start with, although
you could really take me seriously, couldn't you?
I do think that I don't know about how others feel, but I think it's sometimes hard to listen to your better half. I don't know. I got good learnings from Rebecca, but
What with the breakthroughs with Imelda, do you reckon?
Well, with Imelda, it's been really. I'm just trying to think of specific times, but overall, it's just.
With the letting go of belief stuff.
Yeah.
What do you reckon out of those beliefs do you reckon had the biggest impact?
I guess getting back to just childhood. Just stories that you made up at particular points in your life about yourself and about what people thought of you, and just realizing that you've just made up a big story, and it's like generally not true. Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
I think. Does Andre feel if anyone reaches out who is in a low space, what would be the best place to start the journey out of feeling stuck just in the beginning?
I personally think it was important to take my medication to start with. as Rebecca said, she's not against medication, and I think it is very important. It has a role to play at times, because you do get to a point where you know, you might be beyond rational thinking, and yeah, I think that that if you're stuck, just believe, like just keep at it, and seek help and listen to people, and maybe you don't want to at the time, but I think just chip away, and but yeah.
And Joe was asking about what have been the gifts?
The gifts, my family.
In what way?
Just like I don't think. Well, I wouldn't like to think where I'd be without. Like it was the turning point in my life. You know, I had no direction. You know, I really didn't know what I wanted. I thought I did, and it was always ever changing. And I think that, you know, it's grounded me having a family. You know, especially with Isabella, and yeah, my family's the biggest gift. Rebecca and Isabella, and all my family, both in-laws and my family and friends.
And the gift in us going through this, what do you think?
The gift is being able to now deal with adversity, with some tools, different techniques. You know, having something in the, you know, stored away that, you know, oh, this is happening again. How did I, you know, what do I do? That's right. I just do this, and you know, I can change how I'm thinking.
We've got Glenn there saying awesome stuff, like encouraging males, chipping away, and that's so sweet. Matt saying you do so much stuff. Shireen saying thank you for sharing your story, answering questions too. I saw there was one from Lou, and it was for you, Miss Boo.
What was it?
It was saying, how do you want to come over here for a bit?
Yeah.
Maybe. Come on. You're so close. Lou was asking, how do you feel about the story being told, like your parents' story?
I don't really care.
I don't really care.
Well, like, it's a thing to know that this has happened in their lives, but I don't really think that I care that much. Well, like, it doesn't affect me in any way. Like, I'm not, like, angry or upset that it's happened in the past. But I don't really care now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you've felt a bit mixed about it, haven't you?
Yeah, like, just my photo.
We had to do some bribing for the photos of Isabella in the book.
We got 2 bunnies.
What was it? Oh yeah, they were the 2 bunnies that we got. And yeah, I see Glenn's there thanking Matt. Yeah, it is one of those kind of synchronicity things, isn't it? That we're next door neighbours, and with Matt's book out there, The Longest Day, his story about depression, the coast to coast, and stopping drinking. Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important that these stories are out there, because I think we're all humans. We're all here to learn, to grow, and I do think we learn by that sharing. I certainly know that I have. What's Miss Sink said here? Love you 3 Bex, and the 3 of you are gold. Thank you for sharing your story so openly. Oh, thank you from Evie and Kate saying thank you. Better out than in, isn't it? Because that's certainly what I've found from all the people, the clients that we work with. Everyone's got their stuff, and it's certainly I feel lucky that I get to hear these stories of these wonderful, successful people, and just how empowering that is, seeing when they're letting go. and just getting, isn't it usually about just getting comfortable within ourselves. Oh, Vanda, it's wonderful that you're sharing your story. It's not easy, so caring, so brave. Well, thank you again to you guys as family for agreeing to that. Oh, Kirst, great team. Thanks. Oh, thanks, Kirst. That's lovely. Life does happen to all of us. We don't know what's going on inside the most confident people. All of us have our things to be letting go of. I think so. So thank you so much. If there's any more questions, we might stay on just a minute longer. I think before I was saying we really are keen, Imelda and I, to be out there. Maybe Andre, I don't know. We'll see how he feels about that. But out there, giving presentations, letting people know how they can have their mind working for them rather than against them. We're just keen for people who are feeling stuck, or those in their lives that they care about feeling stuck, and are wanting to have that hope to plant some seeds, to give some ideas of where they might be looking, having their direction in order to be moving on, getting on with enjoying life, doing the things that float their boat. Because as we've seen, none of us knows what the future holds, so we may as well have it. As a guy I used to work with once, he used to say, this is not a dress rehearsal. So Marg is saying fantastic sharing. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Well, guys, I think we might sign off. We'll keep in touch with you to let you know how we're going with the in-person celebration. Thank you so much for joining us. It really does mean a lot. All those encouragement. Will I write another book? I do have another book in the pipeline, and yes, we'll get over this one first, perhaps. And okay, thank you. Of real inspiration. Oh, it's gone. Excited to read your book. Yes, excited to share that. Oh, thanks, Glenn. I see what you do in the community, and you're an inspiration. I think all of the people here tonight really are inspiring. We're very grateful to have you in our lives.
We got surprise gifts.
Oh, okay. It looks like Patrick's coming to say goodbye to us. And say bye-bye to everyone. He's being tolerant. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Big virtual hugs and kisses to you all. Okay then, night. Bye-bye.